legislation within the UK is really turning into one thing. It's an administration exercise which results in a tax. That's it. It gets dressed up in lots of different ways, and depending on what sort of organisation you are, there may be more layers of it, but ultimately you are collecting a load of data, submitting that in the prescribed format to determine how much tax you pay on the energy you use. It's no more complicated than that. What we're about is collecting that data automatically, ensuring that there are no errors within that, so determining that it's consistent with previous consumption, and then taking that data and outputting it in a way that you then can do your submission. Okay, energy managers are faced with a whole wealth of things to do, not least of which is probably their day job, because most people who are in energy management positions are doing this as an extra responsibility to their normal piece because they've got the biggest energy spend. What we do is we take away the administrative piece of that process, so you can concentrate on actually doing something about the results rather than getting to the results in the first place. And in most cases people are manipulating tens of Excel spreadsheets trying to work out what energy consumption came from which supplier, and then you change supplier and all the data changes and you lose all your history. What you need is consistency so that you can take that data, run it through and get a consistent output that tells you this week we are doing this, last week we did that, does that compare, is there some action to be taken? Another thing that's very important within this whole piece is that you've got to keep people engaged within the process, and what the optimal platform does is it actually allows the user to control the output and actually determine how the output looks, tailor it to the individual needs of the recipient. What we don't do is give you a whole list of reports, you have to pick one and that's what you get. What we give you is a tool set to be able to create the reports that you need that matter to you. Everybody's requirement is different. Everybody's requirement will be different in 2 months' time from when they start. And it's important to be able to control that process without extra cost. And that's what we do. We give you a tool set, you're in control, we'll help you out building the reports that you need to start off with, and we'll help you out throughout the process if that's what you need. But what it does is it empowers you to deliver the data to the people who need it in a format they can understand. Many people are worried about the cost of these systems, but in fact the cost is very low. In most cases there is existing data that you can use. The cost of collecting new data is relatively small within the ratio of your actual spend. What you need to think about is, if you had an opportunity to save 10% of your energy, what is that actually worth to your business? So you've got a spend of £100,000 a year on energy, utilities, water, gas. If you save 10%, then that's £10,000 a year. How much would you have to sell in order to make £10,000 worth of profit? Typical industries, 5–10%. So you've got to sell £100,000 worth of your product in order to make a contribution to the business of £10,000. For probably a £10,000 spend, you would save that, and you're going to save that year on year, and that is going to be the very beginning of the savings you're going to make, because as you get deeper into this you'll make more and more savings. It's amazing what staff can do when empowered by information.